Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm cpredmor on Ravelry, and I've been posting as Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. And in fact, I just posted one showing the tomato plants.
They have blossoms.
God. We have yellow blossom flowers, so you know, in 2 weeks, maybe sooner, we'll have little tiny cherry tomatoes, and I cannot wait. We've been chomping on the lettuce as it comes up. You know, once we get 4 leaves, 2 for me and 2 for Rcci, they get cut off down low, and we get a little homemade salad. We are at the point of adding water every day to these things. The directions said to feed them only once every 2 weeks, so Rcci's going, well, that means they're respirating. That's good. So I am checking the water every day and making sure that it gets topped off up to the maximum level because the tomatoes are really taking in the water at this point. And I posted something earlier. I remember what I posted, but it wasn't just about tomatoes this week. Maybe it was about Olivia. Did I show Olivia?
You showed Olivia having one arm.
Yes.
And your sock.
Oh yes, my sock. Tour de France has started. Almost 2 months late, but you know, better late than never. They are really, as far as I can see, for the past 2 days, because today was day 2, the riders seem to be very good about wearing their masks as soon as they are stopped. They don't have to wear them while they're actually moving along, because they feel that they pass each other so quickly and really aren't talking that much to each other. So those are the rules.
And I guess they're getting tested frequently.
They're probably every day, but I'm not sure exactly.
We don't know.
Frequently.
They have not stated or they did not state today during the telecast, so I don't know.
So the country of France was the one who set the parameters as to what their safety precautions are. So far, there are 3 people out of the race. Due to falling on the first day, they rode around the city of Nice the first day. Unfortunately, it also rained the first day.
Which is also why this typically occurs in July, because July is not as wet of a month as August and September is. So this is going to be a very different tour.
Very different. More mountains, because they're trying to keep the tour solely in the south of France, except for the day in Paris where they bicycle of the Champs-Élysées. It was exciting today. Julien Alaphilippe won today, and he will be carrying the yellow jersey tomorrow. We'll see how long he carries it.
He carried it for 14 days last year.
That's right. And France was very excited, and apparently he has been quite the superstar this past year because he had the yellow jersey for so long. So, yes, I have finished the sock. In fact, I'll show it to you. This is the sock. It is basically a plain vanilla sock.
Plain vanilla sock, toe up with a gusset heel.
With a gusset heel. This is Jane? No.
Jenny's?
Judy.
Judy.
This is a Judy's. We're not sure if it's one Judy who does the magic circle cast-ons and the magic toe cast-ons, but this is a Judy who has a gusset heel for a toe-up sock. And I don't normally do this, but our friend who we're trying to help, or had sent out a plea for help, had said she really didn't want to do an afterthought heel. She wanted to do a gusset heel. So Elizabeth found this one, and so I incorporated it into my sock. I have reverted back to having holes right there where the gusset stops. Not so much on this side. This side looks good, but this side has a definite hole, which means on the second sock I'm going to dig down deeper
and pick up the stitch further.
Further down. I can put my finger through the hole. Always important to stick your finger through the hole. Yes, there it is. And so that's a bigger space than I normally allow in my socks. But since this is the first time I've seen that heel, I didn't really have an idea of how far down into the lower rows I had to go in order to
account.
That's right. And that's actually not where I join it at the beginning. It is actually towards the end where I am coming down, decreasing down for it to come up to the leg. It fits me. That's fine.
That's good.
I have done the socks, so basically it's equal size from the heel, so the leg is as long as the foot. And I have now started the next sock.
And got into the heel.
And got to the point where I would start the gusset heel. So I don't have second sock syndrome. I really do like wearing my socks.
Mm-hmm.
One of the assistants at physical therapy keeps saying, "Oh my God, I like your socks. I love your socks. You should sell them."
No.
And I just giggle, thinking, you have no idea how much money this yarn costs. And then there's the 3 weeks, of actually knitting the sock. And if you even counted $1 an hour, it'd be worth far more than what anybody would be willing to pay. So I'm not even considering it. And of course, I respond to her with a very silly remark of, "Yes, but if I sold them, I wouldn't have any for myself." Rather than say, "I really don't want to do that." If I wanted to do that, I would do that.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather knit sweaters.
Yes.
I'd rather knit bigger clothing than little clothing. But anyway, this is my second sock, and it's coming along nicely. Do you want to talk about something you're doing?
So I finished things this week. So
Well, I did finish a sock.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I do have to put the button on the top, the band of the halter top, but I have finished my Vivien.
That's lovely. Now, is that a test knit?
No. But it's done, and I really like it. It looks really good on. I kind of want to find a shank button to put on there. Mm-hmm. I just haven't gone through my button stash just yet.
It's very pretty. It looks really good on her.
Yeah, it's really cute. I would recommend it for anyone who's looking at it, and it was a really well-written pattern. I really enjoyed knitting it, even the fact that I knit the top twice. Or, the top part of the top twice.
It didn't take you that long.
It didn't take me very long, and it was very easy to understand, so it wasn't...
And it made it look good.
Yeah.
And fit, so...
Yeah, so I'm not upset by it. It's just something that,
right.
I have done it twice now following the directions, so they're good directions.
They're excellent directions.
So what else have you been working on?
Olivia
has a second arm!
2 hands, yes. So, tomorrow, what I will do is I will work on a leg. So then she'll be peg-leg feet like I am. So, yes, Olivia now has both arms. And I am very excited. Now she can wave. For those of you who saw us at India Untangled last year, we were running the photo booth for, what, an hour and a half? 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. And I had some of the stuffed animals that someone had knit that represented... she crocheted them. That represented the
Angora
logo
Angora, and I can't remember Angora's friend's name.
They're the logo animals of India Untangled. And I was going along and waving arms and legs and saying, "Oh, don't you want to have a picture with this?" But I'm very excited about this. Susan Anderson has come out with another pattern.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I almost bought the kit and the pattern this morning, except I thought, why don't I look just to see if there's a free pattern that looks something like it.
What is it for?
It is a baby in a little cocoon, and it's about the size of your hand. So I thought, well, that's a good toddler-sized, baby to run around the house with. And I looked on Ravelry, and there were several that were for free. That
Susan Anderson does write a beautiful pattern.
Oh, she does, absolutely.
So there's nothing that says you shouldn't go and support her.
Oh, absolutely not. And the kit comes with 4 different skin values.
Good.
So you can have, I think, 8 babies out of this
the
one
kit. That's
kit.
great.
So
So
that
if
really is nice.
you know a bunch of people having kiddos, in the near future,
it would be very cute.
Yeah.
But since I have one kiddo to knit for, I didn't need 8 babies.
I mean, you have 2 others you could knit for.
Yeah, but
you're not going to. I know.
No. First of all, I don't think Silas needs all that many babies. No.
He's got Fiona.
And he's got Fiona, and Fiona's, going to
9 months.
Toddling after
Oh,
Silas.
she's starting to.
Yeah, so
It's pretty funny.
I bet it is.
Pretty funny.
So anyway, Olivia, and she was on Instagram earlier this week showing.
With just one arm, though.
Yes, so now we have 2.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so happy.
She's so cute.
She's so happy. And after we do the legs, then there's a sweater. There's a cardigan that goes with Olivia. So anyway, Olivia is making great strides week by week. So that's good. What else do you have?
So this week, here, you want to hold up that end?
Sure.
I didn't know what I wanted to knit on. So when I finished my Pincha, or my Vivien, so I picked up the Pincha shawl that I have, which is made out of Mardi Gras Mambo.
2014?
No, it's from 2016.
Oh, okay.
And it's in Mardi Gras Mambo. It's got, feathers. It's really beautiful. And you can wear it, it's a little bit of a neck. It's called a Pincha.
Ah.
It was on Knitty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just nice. And so I knit it for a friend of mine who's down in New Orleans.
So it's perfect.
And is, involved in a lot of things during Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pack it up and send it down hopefully this week. I need to go to the post office anyways tomorrow, and I can grab a box there.
Oh, good.
And then hopefully send that off. But I also want to block it because I think it'll open up a little bit more, and I just would like to, have the end feathers a little bit more opened up. It is garter stitch, and it is in, I believe, a superwash yarn, so it's perfect for gifting. But I finished this afternoon, and I had very little yarn left over from it. It was so little that the scale wouldn't even read that there was yarn on it.
No.
So I'm really excited that I got that done. I think I finished, this might be my 4th thing, no, 5th, that I've taken out of long hibernation.
Very good.
During this quarantine.
Very good.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's my 5th in 6 months, that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. It's the end of August. Tomorrow's the last day of August. So for those of us who been knitting sweaters all summer, we're soon going to be able to wear them. Soon, yes. Speaking of sweaters, here is the first bit of the sleeve.
Oh!
For my traveling sweater. It is a provisional cast on. So this is the yoke. And then it expands, and then I will have the sleeve. So what I've been doing is taking a leaf out of your book and doing a little bit on all of my projects. So there'll be one day for Olivia, and then after I finish with Olivia, then I'll probably do some weaving. And yes, I started back weaving on the next towel, tea towel, and I should be able to finish whatever's left on the warp this week.
Good.
Yes, I can do that while I'm watching the Tour de France. I was able, when I took off the towel that I showed you all before, I was able to tighten strenuously the warp that was there, and it seems to be making a difference.
Good.
So that's good. And then the warping board that I had ordered a couple weeks ago, I've just gotten the invoice, that's the word, for the remainder of what I owe them, so it should be mailed out very shortly. And I'm excited about that because I've got another weaving project coming, and I'll show you that. So anyway, here's the yoke, and then the sleeve comes out from here. So with any luck, I'll finish this sleeve this week.
Okay.
So I'll be able to show you the sleeve, and then I'll start, you know, this is like the left, so then this would be the right, and I'll start it, and it'll go like this, very much like Olivia's doing in pieces. So I did block the body of the circle sweater, so that's already dry.
The circle?
Yeah, the circle has been made, but not sewn, because our minister asked us for pictures of what we did this summer. So I had a picture of my red test knit sweater. I had the circle sweater, and I had my washcloth and towel.
Very good.
So yeah, so those were strictly during the summer. So I think that was appropriate. So anyway, this got worked on this week. And what's next for you?
So this is just gonna probably keeping just note of it for the next little while, because it has become my knitting while on conference calls and during, you know, different video conference meetings. So this is my angle. I just measured. I have 7 inches on the body. I need 10. So I've only got 3 inches left to go. So hopefully I'll hit that this week. And then I will start on the sleeves, which I'm not excited about. I forgot that there were full-length sleeves in mohair with some color work at the cuffs. It's gonna be beautiful.
It's gonna be warm.
And I'm gonna love wearing it in the like late fall, early spring.
Yes.
And for those like slightly warmer days in the winter, I think it'll be lovely.
I do too.
I just am a little frustrated with my life decisions. You know. But what else have you been working on?
Well, you know, I started talking about the My Boy Lollipop.
Yes, and how you were going to do some color work.
So I did.
Oh, lovely.
So I made it my own kind of color work pattern. Theory. Yes, and so this was after the 4 rows of
seed stitch.
Yes, seed stitch. And these are all increase rows. But I did the color work there, and I may do it again down at the hem. But I stopped here because I wasn't sure. Elizabeth has done one of these sweaters, and I wasn't sure exactly if I was doing it correctly, because there's this cute little design
like sweetheart.
Yes.
It pulls down into a sweetheart neckline.
And I wanted to make sure that there wasn't some kind of decrease that I missed, and the answer is no, you just don't do any more increases. So I've gotten to the point where I have removed the center front and center back, and just doing increases on the side now. And I will then take a day and work on this. So we'll see how much I can get done in a day next week. So this is the My Boy Lollipop. It's the sweater I'm making for the Indie Untangled Everywhere.
Indie Untangled Everywhere.
Everywhere. So I think that they have stopped taking orders.
So the merch was done, I believe, as of today. You can still register to participate in the shopping as well as the different lectures. But I do believe the merch you had to purchase by today, just so that it all could get ordered, and especially if you had wanted a swag bag, that could be put together.
Right.
So what I've done is, once I kind of knew that the Pincha was going to be done this weekend, I was like, well, I need another sweater to work on.
Yeah.
And my yarn for my Aunt Fred hasn't shown up yet, and we're hoping and praying that it will somehow eventually miraculously show up.
It's just lost in the post office.
It's lost in Texas somewhere, apparently. And I didn't really feel like casting on my Mulberry Street. Like, it just wasn't... It didn't feel it. So I put it up in 2 different groups. I put up a list of, like, 8, I think, different sweaters that I had yarn for and plans for. And the one that came out on top first was the Pixelated Pullover. So I swatched for that. And I got Gauge. So it still needs, the swatch still needs to fully dry. But I'm pretty sure I got gauge, so I might just start that this week. Well, I'm going to start it this week, and I'm really excited. So my first color, I have this beautiful blue and this burgundy. Did I did. Here it is. I have this blue and this burgundy to use for it. And if you know the sweater, you know that it has 3 colors. I also have a bright yellow, which actually looks really good with these 2. I didn't swatch it because I only have 1 skein of it, so I didn't want to use up that yarn. But you're supposed to start with that color first up at your face. And it's a bright yellow. I probably could wear it. No, bright yellow I can wear.
Right, that's true.
It's
Any
not
other
pale.
yellow.
Yeah, so it's bright yellow. So I'm pretty sure I could wear it. I'm not going to. So I'm going to start with my second color up at my neck.
That'll be nice.
Fade to, pixelate into it, or into the second one, and then pixelate again back into this one. And then at the cuffs and the hem, I will still pixelate into that third color.
Nice.
Because I think that'll look really nice, and it'll be a pop of color. I'm hoping I have enough yarn on this project. I definitely am going to go. It's a contiguous sleeve. It's a contiguous set-in sleeve.
Which is really
we
nice.
did with Amy Detchgen.
Yes.
And so I'm going to do it where I, set that up, and then I go probably until I hit solid on this second color, or what will be my second color. And then I will go to the sleeves to make sure that I have the sleeves completely knit.
Right.
Because the body, I'm short-waisted, as we've discussed previously. So I'll stand up. But most of my pants hit me here, and this sweater is 12 inches long. So
and for me, that would be 14.
Right. And so most cropped things can look fine on me, but most things that are in that, cropped but not, or just at your waist, just right at your waistband, on most people, are right, are right at my hip bone for me. I do have a lot of longer sweaters that I do like and that are really comfy, but it also is, and it is also really nice to be able to have that freedom in my knitting. However, frustrating it can be for my sewing. Yes. But that's what I've been working on.
So we talked about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue from Neighborhood Fibers.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't put it down.
Oh, of course not.
So I found this in the Verena.
Ah.
Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, that?
That.
Yes.
That.
I thought you were marking the sweater on the other side.
No. I like that. And I'm going to actually do it as a pullover rather than a cardigan.
I like that.
And I think that will be great for the winter.
Yes.
So I have cast it on. It's done in pieces.
Oh.
But it has almost like a little picot edge.
In order for us to stay socially distant while on screen, it's a little bit harder to...
So there's a yarn over in between, and I think that's really nifty.
It
so
is.
I'm not going to spend an entire day on this a week. Maybe a morning or an afternoon until I get one of the other sweaters done.
Okay.
But I would like to have it done by the time Election Day comes around.
All right, you've got 2 months.
Yes, I do. Of course, you can finish 3 sweaters in 2 months.
Obviously.
And finish a pair of socks. Anyway, I was spending a lot of time on the socks because I wanted to be able to help our friend. And now I've gotten to the point where it would take me maybe an hour to move ahead with the gusset sock and be able to really talk about it in detail. And I can show her the one finished sock. So that sock can actually be set aside for the moment until we are in communication with her. So, yes, I will work on the travel sweater and work that sleeve. I will work on my boy Lollipop. Well, Olivia gets an appendage.
Okay.
I mean, there's no more than that because it's
right.
so little.
Yeah.
I might be better. I was thinking about this today. I might be better instead of having double pointeds if I had 4 circulars.
I was going to say, or 2. It looks like she's pretty flat in terms of her, like she's not so much rounded on her appendages, but she's...
No, the arms were 3 needles. So, and she talks about needle 1 had this
then
many.
I mean,
so I could do that.
Needles.
But at the moment I have these needles and they're set aside, and so I may just finish it. If I were to make another one, I think I would use a set of circular needles, because then the cord makes them much more pliable, 1, and 2, it makes it looser, so that when you're working on the one set of stitches that would be on a double-pointed needle, the other stitches would be hanging off cords, and therefore wouldn't be as stiff and ungainly. So that was an idea that I had for Olivia. And I got it from working the gusset on that toe-up sock, because the gusset is written for 4 double-pointed needles. I was working with 1 circular needle, but when I got to the point of starting to do the decreases, the directions were not crystal clear. So I looked at it, and they had already identified which set of stitches was going to be the heel. So then I looked at it and I said, well, obviously what you're doing is you are doing a centered decrease. So it's merely doing the math and figuring out here's the center, then going out from here, and this is where that decrease goes, and going out from here and doing that decrease. So that's fine. It's done and done and almost dusted. So we'll do the sleeve on this travel, work on the My Boy Lollipop until I get to a certain point. Maybe if I get down to the armholes. And then I could do a little work on this. So, and then save some time for the weaving. Do you have anything else to talk about?
I have mail, but that's...
well, I have mail too. Well, I have this. For those of you who were a little worried about my counted cross stitch, I started back working on it today. I have missed it tremendously, but I finished. What I did today was I outlined my boat there, and now I have done the water past that boat, and I have then started to fill in this area, which is actually part of the land. So it comes up here. I'm now working with my deepest teal, which is not as teal as I thought it would be. Teal to me has a little bit more aqua in it. This teal is just one dark color, almost like a dark khaki, but it's fine. I think all together, the colors, when they're all together, look really delightful. So I'm quite pleased. As I said, I'm up to this point on the water, so I wanted to fill in this part up here before I went crazy with the water. The reason I went crazy with the water is that there's a white mast that comes up from this little sailboat, and I'd love to get that in, but I think I'm going to fill this in because I'll have to move the hoop up really to get the mast in. So this is starting to be worked on, and I will continue work on it tonight, as we managed to locate just about everything. The needle threader and all that kind of stuff.
They went on a walkabout on a coffee table.
Yes.
Earlier today.
Yes. But we have now found everything. For 2 weeks, I lost my coffee mugs.
The stitch markers.
The stitch markers, but we found those, so we're doing good. So now all I have left is mail.
Okay. Would you like to go first?
Well, that's up to you.
Up to you, Mom.
All right. Well, I will go first. So,
I have a feeling it's going to be short because we've done a lot this week, but it's just not a lot of
faffing about.
We're both slightly tired and also just
a little wrung out. We've been kind of upset about Chadwick
Boseman,
who played Black Panther. 42, Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall. I mean, I thought he was an amazing actor, and I'm shocked that he's dead at the age of 43. One never knows how much time one has, and so certainly living it and doing the best you can, both for yourself and for others, I think is a great way to kind of direct your life.
And remember to tell everyone that you love them.
Absolutely. So anyway, we have more cotton.
Oh, you have more weaving stuff.
I do. Look at this.
Oh my word.
There is a weave along that starts the second week. I believe it's the second week of September. Could be the first week. Anyway, this is a project where you actually make a riot towels, which means you're weaving back and forth, and then at a certain point you stop, and then you make knots over the warp, and then you weave, and then make knots, and leave them as butterfly ears, rabbit ears, or butterfly wings. That's it.
There you go.
Butterfly wings or rabbit ears, and then when you're done weaving, then you cut them. You cut the ears or the wings, and then of course they fuzz out, and it becomes
more of a terry.
Much more of a terry, kind of a long-haired terry, which is really kind of the direction that I want to go in with my weaving. So I think eventually...
So that Dad will stop stealing your towels on the boat?
Well, he'll stop stealing my towels, but he will... And I will be left with more than a tea towel to dry off with.
Yes.
I will actually have a towel that has more surface area, since it will have all these little fuzzy things. And I'm very excited about it. So these are the colors I chose, which is a very light aqua, kind of a medium light blue, and this is a gray. And so the pattern is also from Just, which is where I got this from. Mm-hmm. And since my warping board is coming, I will warp on when, one, I finish the towel that I have on downstairs, and two, when the warping board comes, so that I can get a good tight tension on the warp as I put it on the loom. So mm-hmm. That's really very exciting. I still have not gotten the 12-dent reed for the multi-shaft machine.
Yeah.
But they said it might take 3 to 4 weeks. Apparently there was a run on them. Who knew? So this is a weaving project in waiting, and I'm really very excited about it. I think that the yarn is made in the USA. This is linen and cotton. What is this? This is organic, 55% organic cotton and 45% conventional cotton. Grown in North Carolina, Dan River in Virginia, right at the Virginia-North Carolina border, was an area known for its cotton mills way back when. So cotton was a very large commodity grown in Virginia and North Carolina, and this is then another one of the 55% organic and 45% conventional cottons. So cotton towels is where I'm at. And I'm looking forward to it. The towel that's on the loom now, that's worked on the loom now, is doing much better. I do find that using my boat shuttle and just slipping it across, I am missing some of the proper ups and downs because I still don't have the tension quite right. But when you get that beautiful moment when the tension is right and you have your heddle in the up or the down position, that boat shuttle just slides right through. You can just go, and it goes. So I can see why people like it, but in a loom that you don't have exactly the right tension, not so much. But it's not going to bother me because they're my towels. I don't have to have anybody else approve of them. I'm good. Good. What have you got?
So I got, we all know that I have fallen down the rabbit hole of historical costuming.
Yes.
So
I thought they were paper dolls.
No. So there's one book called Authentic Victorian Pattern Making, and it's the first one of these books. This is Authentic Victorian Fashion Patterns, a complete ladies wardrobe.
Cool.
The first one was on back order and should be at my apartment this week. But this is amazing. I'm going to have to read up on how to use these scaled patterns.
Where's my phone? There is a nail. If you find a length that's telling you to measure a nail, I can tell you what that measurement is.
But there's also, I know, Enchanted Rose costumes, she has talked about them before, and finding the like a measurement tool that says the scale. Oh, huh.
Because it's in a book I have downstairs on women's clothing, and they don't have the schematics. They just tell you the length of the line that you're supposed to draw, and supposedly I could make jackets out of the whole thing.
So you'll see there's that gorgeous waistcoat situation, asymmetric.
Very nice.
And there's all of the pattern pieces. It doesn't tell you, obviously, I don't know, how to put it together, really.
It doesn't look that hard.
But it also, we've put together enough clothing that it's not that difficult. I also don't think that this will be my first foray into Victorian fashion. I do think I want to get one or, I mean, look at that.
That's adorable.
Look at that, y'all. I do think I want to get a truly Victorian pattern. They have a petticoat. So that was a cape that I thought you were, that since you kept on talking about the cape.
Well, I'm actually talking about the cape coat.
You're talking about a cape coat. Yes, I understand. But that's a cape to go over a dress and bodice.
So anyway, the measurement I was talking about as a nail, which is used in my pattern book, is 2.25 inches or 1/16 of a yard. Apparently, at the turn of the century, that was a measurement that everybody knew.
Yeah. So then there's that. I just think the sleeves are a bit much, but I love the bodice, and the skirting to the bodice. So the first one comes in this week. I do think I might. Well, I want to get. I'm trying to figure out how many more rolls of Swedish pattern paper to get, because I do want to pattern out a few other things first.
I'd say 2.
I'd say 2 or 3, yeah. Because Mood no longer sells it, but Wawak does.
Okay.
So, I will order that.
I think I got mine through Amazon.
So, yeah, that's where we're at. That's the mail I got this week.
And I didn't cut out anything. I thought about it. I thought seriously about it. But I really was on a tear to make some progress on those socks.
Yes.
So I wanted to. I didn't want to be the one holding back our friend.
Yes.
So I finished the sock. Yeah. And as I said, it fits really nicely. So
that's good.
So now
it's good to have another heel in the repertoire.
Yes. So now I actually, if I get a spare afternoon, I could cut out something and put it together. I think there's a total of 4 seams. Maybe 6.
In that dress?
Yeah, maybe 6.
Nice.
So, yes, very nice. Meanwhile, Manhattan College starts school this week, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and I am thrilled that I am not teaching just because I have really kind of hunkered down into this handicraft.
Into the social distancing and handicrafts and retirement and
social distancing gave me an excuse to do exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it did.
So
it really did.
What's held me back, obviously, is my knee and not being able to do the sailing on the boat that I wanted to do. But give a little, get a little.
Yeah.
And I will have nice sweaters and maybe a dress or 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
And leggings. One of these days we will bust
had my
out.
pre-surgical testing on Friday. Walked all over Gothel Acre for HSS, or Hospital for Special Surgery, and they basically stamped my head and said, "You're fine, and we'll see you in 2 weeks." I said, "Okay." So we're good.
Yeah. So other than that, I think we're gonna call it a night.
We're gonna weave it in. So I'm gonna go downstairs and work on my cross stitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's getting late, but the reason that this is also is because I have off tomorrow. It is the nieceling's baptism, and I am one of her godmothers.
She's going. I'm not.
Yes, father is coming with me.
Yes, Richard's going also. He has promised to wear his mask constantly and just be in the back, so he's not near anybody. I think he's rather nervous about my surgery.
I think so too.
So
But I also think he's
desperate to be there.
And he's also very funny because anytime I've mentioned like going somewhere, like when I went into the office to get my stuff, and
he wants to help.
He wants to be helpful. So I think him being helpful right now is driving with me to the baptism. So that'll be lovely.
So they'll leave me alone all day. They're leaving at 8:30, so I can work on Olivia. And
you can do whatever
watch my Tour de France.
You can watch all the Tour de France you want. Hey, I mean, I watched the Tour de France with you today. I have no problem watching the Tour de France. Yes. Father's the one who makes comments.
Who cares?
We don't.
He comes in and he does like to look at it.
Yes. Because he likes mispronouncing names.
Yes. Well, and I was in his chair today. It's easier for me to do the cross stitch if I'm sitting in the more upright chair.
Yeah.
And luckily I have a very bright light, so that works out pretty well. So I'm going to go downstairs and work on the counter cross stitch. You're going to work on that.
I'm going to probably keep knitting on this. Maybe I'll fall asleep on the couch again. Who knows?
You never know. Oh. I had a problem falling asleep last night.
Oh, yes.
Of course, I was tired when we finally went upstairs. I got upstairs, and for an hour I laid in bed going, I can't fall asleep. So then I went downstairs to get my iPad to play an audio book. Listened to that for an hour. That didn't help. So I got up. I was hot. I wasn't right. So got up, went downstairs, had a breakfast, because by that time it was 5 o'clock in the morning. And had breakfast. I went and got the newspapers. And then I said, well, let's try to sleep again. So at that point, I did fall asleep. So slept for about 3 or 4 hours.
This sounds like my Friday into Saturday.
So
because Friday into Saturday, I fell asleep on my couch at like
wait a minute, that's not the point of this. The point of this is
you went
2 pillows.
Yes.
So I bought a new neck pillow, which I'm looking forward to, and I bought a new regular king-size pillow. I had looked up, I don't know if any of you know about the mattress company called Saatva. It's Saatva. They're very expensive, but supposedly well-made. So I was looking up non-feather pillows, and Saatva came up, and for the grand total of $170, I could get one of their pillows. And I didn't. I looked at how they were made and what they were made of, and I then went online and found another source for said pillow, and it should be here in a week or so. The neck is coming tomorrow.
Nice.
So that'll help, I think, because right now the one I have it's losing the beads and whatever's in it. It's losing its oomph. So at least that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
And I'll report back on the other pillow when I get it.
Well, I had an issue sleeping.
Today?
No, on Friday into Saturday, and I fell asleep on my couch. And I woke up, I went to bed, and I have a fan that I have on right next to my bed.
Right.
And it wouldn't turn on. And I thought, okay, fine. I'll put on a podcast. I'll go to sleep. It'll be fine.
No.
Half hour later, I'm still awake. And, like, awake. Not in that, like, fuzzy, like, half awake situation. No, I'm awake. So I take my butt up and I go back into the living room where my air conditioner is. And I, situate myself on the couch. Not restart the podcast, but restart the sleep timer on the podcast. And I'm out like a light, but then I woke up again. But then I went back to sleep. It was a whole thing.
Well,
and then Saturday
I had early breakfast, because at regular breakfast time all I had was a cup of coffee this morning, so I didn't eat any more for breakfast than I normally would have, but I just had it spaced out. Once I had a full tummy, I was fine. Seemed to be fine, but the pillows weren't good. So we'll report back on the new pillows.
I brought the fan home, with me because I was like, let's see if, maybe we can figure out what's wrong with it. And it was corroded contacts, so it's currently down. So there were also 2 fins on it that were coming apart. I have had this for probably 4 or 5 years. I haven't actually looked up how long I've had it.
On Kickstarter.
Yeah. And, my dad was very excited to have something to fix. And we did fix it, which is really great. But we then reaffixed these fins to it. And that is downstairs drying. So when we come back from the baptism, hopefully that'll be done drying and all set up. And I can take it home. Because I was very excited. Also because Dad got a little upset at how, or what the price of a new one is. He was like, of course I'm fixing it.
It's a fan that blows air over a cold pack or an ice pack, which is air conditioning.
Yeah.
And I made a comment of how that would work on the boat. And she said, well, that's what you said 5 years ago. And, of course, I did nothing about it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
because
next
Dad made a comment about how, no, because we'll have to have it, you have to have it charged. And
meanwhile, we can have it charged easily on the boat. There's a plug right there. Anyway, we will see you next week. I can report back on all my progress, and maybe we'll have tomatoes. That would be great.
That would
Probably
be very
not.
exciting.
I'm betting that it'll take 2 weeks.
Probably.
Yes. Anyway, weave in those ends, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.